Hey, Josh the Balloon Guy here, and I know I already answered it that in a quick video talking about the tulip twist and some tips and tricks on it, or a quick tip on it. But it really is a useful skill to learn. So much so I'm going to devote a quick little minute or quick little video to it here, making three different things. Um, Hopefully, I only need the four. I only need four balloons, um, but we'll see. Uh, I'm going to start with a gray 260, and I'm only going to inflate it about 3 hand widths. Actually, not even fixing to use all of that for this particular thing, but all of these things today have uh, that tulip twist that we talked about yesterday in them. Okay, and so one of the key things is to make sure you're pushing on the knot, that your knot is what you're going to grab a hold of down in there. So not the nozzle, you actually want the knot. Okay, twist off a few times and then roll back up into the tulip. Okay, for this one, so I've done the tulip twist. I'm going to do a 2-finger bubble right behind it, almost about 2.5. Okay, and then 2 1-finger pinch twists. So the structure is very similar to what we were making yesterday, but right here we're only going to do 2 3-finger bubbles together. Okay, and then we're going to tear off, and I'm going to go ahead and let the air out of the rest of that gray, but don't get rid of it because we are going to use it. All right, and so you have kind of a rocket ship, spaceship style thing there, and then you're going to take a brown 260, and I'm going to blow it up. Again, about 3 hand widths. I went about 4 on here. Tie off and use that nozzle. I did leave it a little extra nozzle to go into the 2 pinch twists on the gray balloon that we just made. Okay, and yes, you have a hammer. And then I'm going to measure down 1, 2. I'm going to go 2.5 hand widths. Okay, or really probably a hand and then a hand and a thumb. Just making a bubble that long. Go ahead and tear off the remainder of that brown. In this case, it's the Sempertex Latte. And you have a little hammer. Set this one to the side. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead, puff inflate the gray. Okay. And then I'm going to take a green 260, inflate it. It is a good length, so about halfway, leaving about 2 hands. Again, I want a long nozzle for this. Okay, so this is one that's going to be a little bit trickier using the same tulip twist, but we're going to do what's actually called a marriage twist. I'm going to go ahead and tie that gray onto the green. Okay, and I'm going to tie them nice and tight. And then I'm going to push through and make the tulip twist. And then push back, locking it in place. Okay, I'm actually going to maybe trim that off a little bit, or maybe just use another gray for the next one. But this design is going to look very similar to the one we made yesterday, except for it's not going to have quite the same handle. So I'm actually only going to do about a 2-finger bubble right behind the tulip twist, and then I'm going to do the bird body. Okay, and that's a 4-finger bird body. Then I'm going to do a pinch twist at the end of it. Bring that balloon down, and I just want to go about a hand width, so maybe a little more than 4 fingers here. Tear off, and hopefully it doesn't get away from you, but I don't need that right now. Tie off, and I'm going to trim that with my handy dandy balloon trimmer here. All right, so I've tied off, and now I have a drill. Bzz, 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 bzz. Okay, set that one aside too. All right, so I did need to grab another gray, or if you have a scrap in your scrap bag, we're just going to put a puff inflate in here, a puff, which is literally just enough air to make this kind of rigid. I'm going to go ahead and tie off up there, but I'm going to figure out, I want maybe for this particular one, I want to do just over 2 hand widths. So I've got a hand and a thumb and then another 4 fingers. I'm going to tie one more time. And I want this particular one to be a little extra long so that I can demonstrate what I was talking about a little clearer in that tips video. Okay, so see, that's nice and long. And then I'm going to take a yellow. Doesn't matter what color this one is, because it can be whatever color the kid wants. Any of this could. And I'm going to go ahead and inflate it about 2 hand widths. Not going to end up using all of that, but I'm going to when I tie that off, again, giving enough of a nozzle to tie these two together. All right. And then rather than pushing my finger down through there, because I want this to go a little further than we did on the other 2 tulip twists, I'm going to use that Sharpie method that I was talking about and get that knot. And I'm going to go ahead and push it through almost the length of my Sharpie. Grab it out of there. And that certainly is easier than doing my finger. I know that sounded like it got stuck, but it's going to be easier than doing your finger. Twist off, and then push back through to lock it in place. Okay. And then tear off. And I'm going to continue to push through just to help seal it. All right. And then you've got a little screwdriver. Now, I show all these off using that tulip twist because it is a good tool to have in your repertoire. As always, keep practicing, and I'll see you next time.